Welcome back to the Thrive 45 Method podcast with me, your host, nutritionist Stacey Nicole Smith. And this is the space where we talk all things weight loss and wellness for the woman in perimenopause and menopause. Now, let's get started with today's episode. Hey guys, welcome back. All right, so today we are addressing the topic of you are gaining weight in peri and menopause, even though you're eating less. Well, this might surprise you, but it could be the fact that you are eating less that is contributing to weight gain. Isn't that wild? And before I forget, I put together a free guide for you guys. So if you want the first 3 things I do with every single client when they're starting on their weight loss journey, comment guide, and I'll send you the guide that includes the first 3 things I do with every client when they're starting their weight loss journey as women in peri and menopause. Now, why you're gaining weight in peri and menopause, even though you're eating less. This one is really going to surprise a lot of people, but I hope it gives you some hope. So all of these things you're doing, you're eating less, you're cutting out carbs, you're intermittent fasting, and not only is the weight not coming off, a lot of times you're gaining. That is wild. And the thing is, a lot of these restrictive ways of eating can actually be working against us. Now, when we're looking at the model of, burn off more, eat less, like that's what we've been taught our whole dieting lives, right? And it makes sense in theory. Like it makes sense in theory of, take in less than you burn off. Like, okay, but here's the thing, we're going into the hormonal changes of perimenopause. The game and the terrain has shifted because that model assumes that we are dealing with a stable and predictable environment. We are not. And as a woman who is experiencing these hormonal changes, I'm sure you've already noticed as things are changing. So we just need to change with them. All is not lost. And it's actually very good news because restriction is in fact working against us. It's not in your mind. So we need to learn to eat in a way that's going to nourish them. But first you want to know why you're gaining weight. You're not changing anything and you're gaining weight out of nowhere. Well, and then you're eating less. Here's the thing. As we're experiencing these hormonal changes, so our estrogen and progesterone are fluctuating and then decreasing, right? At the same time, cortisol, our stress hormone, is increasing. So what this means is our body is more sensitive to stress. This is really important to understand. So when we are doing things like severely restricting calories, doing tons of cardio, eliminating carbs, intermittent fasting in the mornings, these things, the very things that we're doing to try to lose weight, are viewed by our body as stressors. We are more sensitive to stress at this age due to our hormonal fluctuations. So all we're doing instead of signaling weight loss is we're giving our body a stress signal. And what does our body do with a stress signal? It's going to do the opposite. It's going to keep weight on. So when we are basically, we're restricting. Our body wants something. So instead, what we need to do is give our body what it needs. Don't just take away everything, give it what it needs. What does it need? Well, it needs to be nourished. Okay, how do we do that? Well, first things first, if we're more sensitive to stress, then we have to cut through that stress response. So what's one of the easiest ways to do that? Well, number one, feed your body on a regular basis. So it knows you're not starving it and it can trust you. And you also want to feed it enough because guess what is our metabolic engine? Muscle. As we're experiencing this decrease in estrogen, we're also experiencing a decrease in muscle mass. It naturally happens as we age. And as we're experiencing little by little less and less muscle mass, and now we're starving ourselves and severely restricting calories on top of it, guess what's happening? That muscle mass is decreasing even further, which means our resting metabolic rate, the number of calories our body burns at rest, is decreasing and decreasing and decreasing, even though you haven't done anything. And so when you're eating less and less, well, you are doing something, you're eating less and less and contributing to this issue, right? And so without meaning to, you're lowering your resting metabolic rate, the rate at which your just body burns calories naturally. So how do we do this? Well, strength training is a great one, but even if you don't go to the gym, if you don't work out, whatever, we're dealing only with nutrition and lifestyle. Eat enough protein at your meals. That's going to help to preserve the muscle that you have so that it can maintain your metabolic rate. This is really important. One of the other ones that is very, very, very common, and this can be why you're gaining weight even though you're eating less, is we need to look at our, because it's not a calorie issue. Here's the thing. when we're eating less, we're treating the weight gain like a calorie problem, but it's not a calorie problem. It's a hormone communication problem. And that's why you can still be gaining weight when you're decreasing your food intake and your calories, because it's a strategy mismatch. You're treating a hormone communication problem as if it's a calorie problem, and it is not. So instead, what we have to do is we have to correct the hormone signaling so the calories can stay the same, hopefully, if you're eating reasonably. So the calories can stay the same, and we just correct the hormone signaling so that your body can start burning them off, burning your food off as fuel again, and accessing that stored fat and burning that off as well. So strategy mismatch. So how do we do that? This is a big one. As I mentioned, we're more prone to, a stronger stress response with increased cortisol, but also blood sugar. This is running the show because we're more sensitive to those blood sugar fluctuations. So when women are skipping meals all over the place, you're messing with your blood sugar even more, unfortunately. And that's leading to energy dips and up and down. It is leading to food cravings because you want to bring your blood sugar up really quickly. And it's just leading to a whole host of problems. So, and when we're having these blood sugar fluctuations, guess what is connected to blood sugar is insulin. So insulin is a fat storage hormone. So I am dealing with women all the time, and I feel so bad because I know you're trying, right? And that's the hard thing. You're restricting, but in doing so, you're having all these blood sugar fluctuations. You're having an insulin response. Insulin's a fat storage hormone. So when you're restricting yourself too much, you're very well having your body give your signals to store fat, store fat, store fat. So you might not be eating that much, but you're giving your body the signal, store fat, store fat. So how do we correct this? Like, it's not an overnight thing, but you just need to understand the types of foods to give your body at the right times. And this is including enough protein, but protein's not the whole story. That seems to be the one people talk about a lot. But women also at this age need enough fiber. That feeds your gut bacteria. Gut bacteria run the show, and they do change with the decrease in estrogen, specifically going in through perimenopause and then menopause. So these are some of the things we want to look at. And then, of course, you want to have enough healthy fats because that's going to keep you satiated between meals, and it's going to help with hormone production. So it's all kind of tied together there. So let me know in the comments if this makes sense to you, like why you would be gaining weight even though you're eating less. And does that make sense to you that, you're trying to treat a hormone communication issue, which is what's happening with the fluctuation of hormones, trying to treat a hormone communication issue as if it's a calorie problem. So you're giving it a calorie solution, but it's a strategy mismatch. That's why it's not working for you. So we just got to go in and have an understanding and say, okay, we got cortisol, we got blood sugar, we got insulin response. We have these things going on, so let's just work with those. And the thing is, you cannot starve your way to hormonal health. So in order to correct this hormone signaling, you can't starve your way there. You're making it worse. You got to give your body what it needs. So these hormones are like, okay, these are the right signals that we're supposed to be giving so we can burn everything off the way that nature intended and the way that our bodies are supposed to be. We're not supposed to be overweight, and carry around all this excess weight. We're supposed to be in a nice, healthy frame, which is different for everybody. Of course, we're all individuals, but I digress. Anyway, let me know if that makes sense. Let me know if you have any other questions. I hope it does make sense to you and that you can wrap your head around the fact that you need to eat more if you're overly restricting, and in fact you should, and it's required. It also makes for a much more pleasant frame of mind and a much more pleasant lifestyle, and easier to maintain, of course. And then, of course, guys, if you want that guide, that includes the 3 things that I do when I start working with each client, comment guide, and I will be very happy to send that to you. So why you are gaining weight in perimenopause even though you're eating less. Hope that helps you guys. Have a great rest of your day. Bye. Thanks for listening. I hope you found this episode helpful. If so, please be sure to like and subscribe to be notified when new episodes are released. Episodes like this are released weekly for all things weight loss and wellness for the woman in perimenopause and menopause. And for other ways I can help you, please be sure to visit the show notes or visit my bio. Thanks for listening. Bye.